Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with my review for Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. And now, I remember the Rainbow Six games when I was a young lad. I remember playing them and despising them because they were absolutely insanely difficult for someone of my young age, so I gave up on them and went ahead and played Naruto instead. Anyway, this game came out kind of undercover in a sense. Only really hardcore fans of Rainbow Six were paying attention to this game, it felt like, but a lot of people were really intrigued by it because it really seemed to be, would this be the game that does online only right? And that's the question I'm going to be answering in my review today while I cover everything in it. Rainbow Six Siege is a very tactical, online-focused, multiplayer first-person shooter in which you're put in a map with a specific mode, online with a team, and you're supposed to either attack or defend, and you'll have various objectives such as saving the hostage or capturing the location or putting down a bomb or whatnot. And the modes are really interesting and fresh, mainly because of the fantastic map design in this game. There are so many ways to tackle different situations, and it's just always a blast communicating with your team, to the point where Ubisoft sent me a free copy of this game, but because I wanted to play with my friends so badly and amp up that playstyle, I bought it again on a separate system so that I could play with them. So that's how good the team play in this game is. It's really phenomenal, it's really tactical, it keeps you locked in. Now this combines with the operators in the game that you will get, and you unlock these with Renown, which is the in-game currency, more on microtransactions later, but anyway, this Renown is used to unlock your weapon attachments, your skins, and as I said, operators, and each operator has a different type of special ability, so to say, that allows you to have that edge in the battle, whether you're attacking or defending, and each one felt unique. There are some that are clearly better than others, but for the most part, there's one for every type of playstyle, and each one has their own unique set of weapons and gadgets to use, so it makes each one very different, so you really have to be careful with which one you pick, and it leads to more experimentation, which is fantastic. They also use a smart unlock system where the first person you unlock for each special force ends up being 500 renown. Then the second one you unlock in that specific force is 1,000, so it increases more and more, so you have to be very careful with which ones you pick, or else you may end up actually pigeonholing yourself into bad classes. So you really have to do your research and make sure that the one you're investing in is the proper one. Now the reason I wanted to talk a little bit about this renown system is because at the end of each match you get about 100 to 250, and that's when you have a good game and you win, is when you get about 250 or 300. You don't get too much renown in this game, and it kind of bothers me in a sense. Not because it feels like the game's cheating me, but because the things such as skins are like 10,000. Which means that you're going to be sitting down for a long while to unlock all these skins. And some of these skins are locked off with microtransactions. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not really trying to complain hardcore, because if there's one thing you're going to lock off with microtransactions, fine. If you want to unlock a skin through real money, by all means, you know, that's not an issue at all, really. But it just kind of bothered me because it felt like a lot of things in the game were overpriced, which leads to the microtransaction, which is called boosters, which boosts the amount of renown you get in the game to a normal sufficient amount, I've noticed. And so that's the really only thing that threw me off, is that to get a decent amount of renown to keep progressing, you feel like you really do have to spend real money. But if that's a trade-off for getting free DLC maps every single month, I can deal with it. I don't like seeing microtransactions in my $60 games, but I will give this one a pass because we are getting free DLC monthly. But yeah, the renown is used, as I said, to unlock attachments or operators, and the attachments are fairly cheap. You can really unlock everything for your gun after a match or two, so that's fairly easy. So that's why I'm kind of making the skins a focal point, because after that it's just the operators that you might want to mess around with every now and then, and the skins. So there really isn't this deep unlock system, but since it's kind of slowed down, it kind of makes you play the game more, so it kind of works out where it's not like Battlefront where it's just intentionally slow because there's nothing there, because Rainbow Six Siege does have a decent amount there, but it does seem slow down a bit just to kind of counteract that there is a bit lacking in the unlock system. But with the amount of operators it offers, the amount of guns it offers, and that you can deck them all out with various skins that are for the most part, a couple of them unique to the weapon, it's okay. Also, it's worth mentioning that a lot of these unique skins that you can only get for these guns, most of them share the same skins, but the unique ones are only the ones you can buy, which is one thing that did rub me the wrong way. But overall, as I said, it's really not a big deal. But like I said, the name of the game is the gameplay in this, and it's super tactical, it's awesome. But if you really want to wet your feet before this game, they have a thing called situations, which is the single player missions that kind of teach you how to play the game. They're really not as useful as what I thought kind of taught me how to play this game properly, which is the terrorist hunt mode. In terrorist hunt, point, you find yourself in a lobby of other players attacking a base loaded with terrorists, as you would imagine, and it just kind of gets you used to the gunplay because it's a little more fast-paced. You kind of get used to the shooting and the movement and the classes rather than having to focus on where your enemies are, being quiet and everything. So it's very interesting. But mind you, this is a very serious game. You can literally like pick out your opponent through sounds, because when you aim in, it makes a sound. When you walk, it makes a sound, so you have to crouch walk a lot. You can see through walls with certain abilities for some of these classes. You can throw down drones. You can bring up the camera, spot enemies. So everyone has an edge over everyone else, and everyone's kind of constantly competing to kind of find each other first and trying to make the proper moves. So it's a lot of thinking before shooting, and it really does that right. Where is this a game that does online only right? I think you can make an argument that it actually does. Added the comparison to games such as Titanfall and Battlefront, so far I'd say that Rainbow Six Siege does it the best out of these games that you're paying $60 for. I know some people will bring up games like Dota 2, League of Legends, etc. that do free to play right, but I'm just saying that for an online only game like we've been looking for, this may be the one that you may be interested in picking up. But mind you, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to point out one thing. I would highly recommend not buying this if you're going to be playing alone. Make sure you're getting a friend or someone else to play with you online, because when I played this by myself, I didn't want to touch this game. Not because it was bad, but because it was so boring playing by myself. If you get a friend in, you can get some communication going. It gets really intense and really fun, so I highly recommend you at least give that a whirl. But if you do, make sure you got someone else picking it up with you. As for some nitpicking, the game really needs to take into account some team killing punishment, because I was killed in a match 3 times over by the same person, and that person was not removed or punished at all in the game, forcing me to back out and find a new game, which is unfair as hell. On top of that, it kind of bothered me that there were challenges locked off just because you could only unlock additional challenge slots, which earned you more renown, but you could only get those challenges if you subscribe to the season pass. I think Ubisoft kind of took advantage of the fact that they're doing free map DLC and started stripping away some of the little things that really wouldn't have made a difference just to leave in. Anyway, that is my review for Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. I hope you guys enjoyed and found this review useful. Let me know what you're thinking on this game in the comments down below. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Links are in the description. Other than that, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.